Dimensions. So today we will be talking about collaboration and also why BIM cannot exist without this. So during this session, what we will be looking at is what does it really mean to BIM and how collaboration is an imperative aspect of BIM in order to fully utilize BIM as a tool for interoperability, improved processes, as well as better quality data and buildings. We're also going to look at BIM maturity levels and collaboration tools, which are available on the Autodesk Construction Cloud. Then just in terms of our agenda, we will start off by looking at what is BIM, why is it important, what are the benefits of it, and so forth. Then we will also be talking about BIM levels and what each of the BIM levels means in order to give you an idea of where you lie on the BIM level chart. Then I'll also briefly explain the different BIM dimensions, which is actually different to BIM levels. And I'll also explain the 6 BIM dimensions that you typically get. Then after getting an overview of BIM, we're going to head into collaboration in construction, what it looks like, and also why it's necessary for strong collaboration. And then we also look at the types of collaboration, and we'll end off by looking at some collaboration tools within the Autodesk Construction Cloud. Okay. Then before we jump right into the presentation, just a quick introduction of myself. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm an Nota and I'm a BIM specialist here at Baker Baines in the ASC builds space. I'm also a qualified professional architect who used to work in practice for 7 years before I joined Baker Baines. And then besides being a BIM specialist, I'm also an Autodesk certified Revit trainer, and I also help assist with companies with their BIM implementation. Then just a quick and a brief overview of Baker Baines and who we are. So Baker Baines has evolved over the last 6 years from being just an Autodesk reseller to a niche consulting company, which are set out to solve our customers' problems through digital transformation, which we use to help you design and make a better world. So in doing so, we offer various consulting services, which varies from business process improvement, survey and design hardware consulting, design software consulting, all topped off with a blended learning approach, which is how we believe our customers should digest their information. Then this is just a brief overview of the various product offerings that we have. Something, for instance, like our scanned BIM service offerings using the TopCon and Leica technology is also becoming increasingly popular. Then I would like to just quickly run a poll. So just give me a second to launch it quickly. Okay, so question is, on what level BIM are you? Either level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, or perhaps you don't even know. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to just give me some answers. I see no one has responded yet. Okay, there's 100% for I don't know, 50% for level 0. I hope after today's session you will realize that you are actually not on level 0. And then there's okay, so it's actually spread across the board. We've got a third saying level 0, someone changed their minds. We've got a lot of people saying level 2, and then some people saying they don't know. Okay, so that's good to hear. Level 2, by the way, is a good place to be. So let me just close the poll quickly. Great. So first of all, let's look at BIM and what exactly it means. So if we look at BIM as ISO 19650 defines it, they define it as the use of a shared digital representation of a built asset to facilitate design, construction, and operation processes to form a reliable basis for decisions. So a built asset is basically, it includes but are not limited to buildings, bridges, roads, and process plants. So if we had to put this in more simple terms, when we look at what BIM means, I like to break it up into 3 tiers. First of all, your BIM, it stands for Building Information Modeling, and it's a working process. So some people confuse it with a software or an object only like a Revit model, but it's really an entire working process. And with this process, it's applicable to the entire project lifecycle. Then a very important part of BIM is that it's really all about the information. In other words, it's a means of collating and communicating information on a construction project throughout the project's entire life cycle, like I've mentioned. And it's also a process whereby diverse packets of data are brought together in order to enable information exchange between the right people at the right time, which is essentially collaboration. Then it's also a process of building a virtual asset, which consists of graphical models, asset data, as well as documentation. This is also commonly referred to as the information model. Then if we look at BIM as a working process, the process of BIM supports the creation of intelligent data that can be used throughout the life cycle of a building or infrastructure project like I've just mentioned. Now, during the initial planning phase, BIM can be used to inform project planning by combining reality capture as well as real-world data in order to generate context models of the existing built and natural environments. Then also further along the line is during the design phase. It also helps during this phase with the conceptual design, analysis, detailing, as well as documentation. And also during this pre-construction process, you can start using BIM to inform scheduling and logistics. Then during the construction phase, the fabrication begins using the BIM specifications that were set up. Project construction logistics are shared with trades and contractors to ensure optimum timing and efficiency. Then with project handover, BIM data carries over to operations and maintenance of the finished assets. So the BIM data can be used down the road for cost-effective renovation or efficient deconstruction as well. Then if we look at why BIM is important, it allows design and construction teams to work more efficiently, and also it allows these teams to capture the data that they create during the process in order to benefit operations and maintenance activities. So next we're going to look at BIM as an information exchange process. So like I've said, BIM is really all about the information, and it's ensuring that the right information is shared with the right people at the right time. So if we look at information exchange in the form of this chart, we realize that this process is actually collaboration in its true sense, with people having to work together. Thus, if we want to say that we want to properly BIM and properly exchange information, you really need collaboration for that. You can't say you are BIMing or doing the whole process without collaborating. So why do we say that BIM is a collaborative process? If we look at the first icon to the left, just have to sort which is your side to the left. It's the traditional information sharing process, which is, in other words, without a CDE. And if you look at this whole process, I won't necessarily describe it as collaboration. By just looking at this traditional way of communication, we can really see that it's a one-to-one approach, and we see a disconnect between stakeholders with inefficient processes. Miscommunication, errors, and delays are just some of the other results of using this traditional information sharing. The second image is an exchange information, i.e. a BIM process on a CDE. Now, for those of you who don't know what a CDE is, it stands for a common data environment, and it's defined as a single source of information, which acts as a single shared central repository used to collect data, manage it, and also manage multidisciplinary teams in a well-mannered way. You also have streamlined processes, visibility and accessibility to project data, and also the entire information exchange process is just more streamlined than with your traditional information sharing processes. So if we thus want to say that you want to implement a BIM approach on a construction project, proper collaboration is really essential to drive improved results and efficiencies as well. So if we next look at BIM levels and dimensions, what you can see here is that there are different levels of shared collaboration in a construction project. And these are typically known as your BIM maturity levels. So at this stage, there are 4 BIM maturity levels that you can see on this chart. So as you progress through the levels, the level of collaboration also increases. So each level also contains a dimension which defines the type of available data. So let's quickly look at what each of these level typically means. The first one is level 0, and this is actually your simplest form of information exchange. So this is really, if you can describe it, it's an unmanaged computer-aided design, aka CAD, and it also includes 2D drawings and text. So information exchange happens on a paper-based process, and it's really without common standards and processes. You also have little to no collaboration, and essentially, if you have a look at this, this is really like a digital drawing board. Then your next level is level 1. If we had to describe it, it's more a managed CAD type of collaboration process. You tend to find increasing introduction of spatial coordinations, standardized structures, as well as formats. This level may also include 2D information as well as 3D info, such as visualizations or concept development models. This level is also sometimes described as lonely BIM, as the models are not shared between project team members. The next one is your level 2, which is a managed 3D environment with data attached, but it's created in separate discipline-based models. So these separate models are assembled to form a federated model, but they don't lose their identity or integrity. The data can also include additional dimensions, which is 4D or construction sequencing, which is the time aspect, and then also 5D, which is cost cost information. Then the last one, level 3, is a single collaborative online project model with construction sequencing, which is 4D, cost 5D, and then an added dimension, which they call 6D, which is a project lifecycle information. This level is also sometimes referred to as IBIM, in other words, integrated BIM, and the intention with this one or this level is intended to deliver better business outcomes. You will also see that you've got full integration with this level. Also at the top, you can see how the levels of collaboration varies or increases from level 0 to level 3. So if we had to look at the various levels and also where the current level of most companies typically are, especially in South Africa, it will be somewhere between level 1 and level 2. So let's say you in your company, you are fully functional and you're skilled on Revit. You can create well-detailed and documented 3D models. You issue drawings from Revit and so forth, but you aren't necessarily collaborating or sharing your models and data with other consultants, especially in a common data environment, then it means that you are only partially BIMing. And that's where a lot of people tend to get confused. Companies say they are BIMing, but it's actually only them being on Revit. And if we look at these levels, once again, you might fall into level 1, which is really a low level of collaboration and BIM. So with that being said, if we had to look at what is the significance of the higher BIM levels and why would you want to be on, say, a higher level, a level 2 or a level 3 in terms of your BIM level, then firstly, it helps boost your productivity. So the ability to share information and also the ability to share it faster and easier can greatly influence and increase your productivity levels. So collaborative working can also collaborative working can decrease the required time for incorporating and editing new information. And also with increased productivity, it means that you have lower costs and by extension, higher efficiency in terms of your project planning. Also with BIM, it will offer remarkable help in handling vast amounts of data. So the more effective managing of big data will change the way many of the professionals within the construction industry like yourself are working. Then BIM can also play a great role in optimizing your construction processes, thus opening up new possibilities for smaller markets. So this element may very soon lead to the opening and development of new markets, which actually up until now did not really have the right tools in order to expand. So thanks to a fully or a partially integrated collaborative model, companies like this will be able to tackle a bigger number of difficulties that they typically face on a daily basis at the moment. Then also with your increased BIM levels, you get the ability to create better quality buildings. So with larger amount of data in conjunction with the ability to manage them with higher precision will eventually lead to remarkable improvement of the quality of our buildings. And then also improved clash detection, which thanks to BIM, the clash detection process is drastically improved. And also if you think about the term clash, it's referring to the potential of mistakes that emerge during the design and construction of a building phase. And the ability to pick that up beforehand will eliminate risks and a lot of errors and issues later along the line. Also, in terms of your building information modeling, it can also help a lot with clash detection as a result in increasing the project's efficiency. Then looking at BIM dimensions. Now, a common misconception around BIM has to do with the BIM dimensions. So actually, BIM dimensions are different than the BIM maturity levels. So if we look at BIM dimensions, they are inseparably connected to the type of data that can become, sorry, I just want to quickly see, I've lost my screen sharing here. There we go. So if we just go back quickly. If we look at BIM dimensions, they are inseparably connected to the type of data that can become available through the process. And they can typically be found in both level 2 and level 3. So in a nutshell, there are 4 types of BIM dimensions. You've got 3D, which refers to the 3D generated drawings, then 4D, which is linked to time management. 5D it concerns data that have to do with the cost of the project, and then 6D, which is a dimension dedicated to the life cycle management of the building. So done with BIM, and you guys now have a brief idea of what it is. So we will be looking at collaboration next. So first of all, what is collaboration in construction? At its core, collaboration in construction simply means that teams are working together towards one shared project goal. So everyone can access the main plans and goals of a project at any given time in order to get the information they need. If we look at what makes for strong collaboration, it's really that team members pool their resources and knowledge, and rather than looking at or after their individual goals, they prioritize meeting the shared goals of the project, which is dictated by the timeline and the budget of the entire process. This, of course, then is the ideal way to conduct a project. So in essence, if you wanted to say that you want to BIM properly, you need collaboration for that. You can't do without it. If we have a look at the types of collaboration, there are typically two types of BIM collaboration. You've got your internal collaboration, which can be something like in your office environment where you are work sharing on a central Revit file, and people are working are co-authoring the same model at the same time. So just to recap on the term work sharing, what I mean by that, it's basically a design method that allows multiple team members to work on the same project model at the same time. Then the other type of collaboration happens externally, and it can be on a common data environment like the Autodesk Construction Cloud. We have got multidisciplinary teams who share common models with project data that are combined, and also it's a process where teams have combined activity and also communication. So if we had a look at the collaboration tools that you have available in the Autodesk Construction Cloud, there are basically two products. You've got Autodesk BIM Collaborate, and then you've got Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. So starting off with the first one, Autodesk BIM Collaborate. What is it? It's a cloud-based design, collaboration, and coordination software for architecture, engineering, and construction teams to review designs, run automatic clash detection, and also track project status. It also helps improve communication with easy feedback tools. It also allows you to stay up to date with design progress. It also helps to assess constructability with automatic clash detection. It also helps to reduce rework, RFIs, change orders with better construction documentation. And it really enables you to make smarter decisions by giving you various useful project insights. So if we had to look at the various features of Autodesk BIM Collaborate, first of all, you've got multidiscipline design collaboration. So it helps you holistically manage civil engineering, building design, and multidiscipline data using project-based workflows in one environment. You also have overarching project timelines, so you can easily see dates and contents of shared design packages, managing data exchange on multidiscipline projects. Then you also have robust access controls, so you can administer teams, projects, and accounts all in one place, and you can also secure access to relevant data with automated controls to keep the teams focused. Then also you have democratized access to design data. So you can easily review designs in a web browser. You can also identify and assign issues on designs for fast resolution without having to open your Revit or Civil 3D or AutoCAD Plant 3D. Then another feature is advanced change analytics. So you can understand changes across the disciplines and how they affect the planned work by simply viewing any combination of models in either 2D or a 3D view. Then you also have round-trip Revit and Navisworks issues. So you can view and resolve issues assigned to you from the cloud directly in either Revit or Navisworks for a closed loop workflow. And then another thing is also valuable project insights, like I've mentioned before. So you can track common issues throughout the design co-creation process using the power of your own project's data to improve planning and also predictability. Then another feature of BIM Collaborate is also connection to construction. So it gives you the ability to store and manage all project data, whether it's generated in Revit, Civil 3D, or AutoCAD Plant 3D, all in one place in order to improve your efficiency during handover. Then if we had a look at Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro, it basically contains all of the same features like you've seen in BIM Collaborate, but the add-on is then the ability to co-author in and also edit within for teams working on Revit, Civil 3D, and also AutoCAD Plant 3D in real time. So once again, if we look at this slide at the top, it has the same features like I've shown you with BIM Collaborate, but the add-on features are then Revit Cloud Work Sharing, where you can then move your cloud work sharing to the cloud for faster, more or smoother Revit co-authoring. And you can also use BIM data to improve downstream constructability. Then also collaboration for Civil 3D, which you can use to securely collaborate on Civil 3D files, data shortcuts, as well as XREFs in one location. It also includes your easy design review, and you can do that in a web browser. And then collaboration for Plant 3D is what you can use to securely access your AutoCAD Plant 3D files across the teams and also maintain compliance requirements in a cloud-based common data environment. So in terms of what I'll be demonstrating to you, I'll be showing you some aspects of BIM Collaborate Pro. So one of the big aspects or important aspects of BIM Collaborate Pro is your collaboration teams. So if we have a look on the screen, basically, if you are collaborating as a project team during the design phase and you are using BIM Collaborate Pro, one of your first steps would be to set up the team spaces for all the various disciplines who are working together on the project, and you also need to add the various project members to their respective team space. So on the screen you can see that there are the different disciplines, and also so they are broken up into different teams, and then each team then has a shared folder which lives inside of the project folder or the project folder structure that contains all of the project data, the drawings, as well as the models that are shared with other disciplines. Another important aspect of BIM Collaborate Pro is also Revit Cloud Work Sharing. Now, with Revit Cloud Work Sharing, it allows you to create the work sharing environment in the ACC instead of on a local network. So one of the first steps, if you wanted to start collaborating on a project and you are using Revit Cloud Work Sharing to do so, you need to initiate your Revit model for work sharing and then share it to the cloud. So similar to establishing your central model on a local server or a local network, the process is very much the same. The only difference being that you need to select the second option, which is collaborating in BIM 360 Docs or document management. And this is basically just showing you what it looks like if your model is set up as a central model. Then if you jump over to the platform, once you've initiated your central model, you will be able to see your Revit file. It had to be obviously saved to the correct folder of your team. And also a nice functionality with your Revit models is your version tracking, or actually with any document that you upload to the Construction Cloud. So here we can see that this specific Revit model is version 2, and it means that basically is the latest, most current version. And you can verify that by clicking on that version 2 icon, which will open your version history. And like we can see there, the top model shows current, and then older versions will also show in the list as well. And you can also compare versions if you wanted to. So then after you've initiated your central file, your Revit central file to the cloud, another important step during the design collaboration and the whole setup is also that you need to publish your Revit model to the cloud. So the previous step was basically just saving your model or your Revit model to the cloud. But in order for it to be viewable to other teams outside of your discipline, you will need to publish it from Revit. So as part of your publishing process, you can also choose whether you want to include certain sets of drawings. In other words, whether you want to issue a certain pack of drawings, which contains specific views and sheets and 3D views as well that you want other teams to be able to see. So this works very much like Revit's plotting process, and you can also select more than one set or drawing set that you want to publish. So also with your publish settings, you can create a new set. You can also duplicate an existing set. You can rename an existing set, or you can delete a set as well. And then at the bottom, you'll also see your preview button. So if you wanted to view a sheet or a view before you publish it to the cloud, you can do so. So once you've published your model to the cloud, then basically if you go back to the design collaboration space, back on the home page, inside of your teams, inside of your discipline's team space, like you can see on the screen, you will then be able to see what models and views and sheets has been published. This also just shows you that if you've opened your model in 3D or in the Explorer mode, also to the left in terms of your content browser, that is basically what you and other teams will also see. So very important with your publishing from Revit is that you choose exactly, or you define exactly what you want to share with others so that they can actually see it. Then looking at design collaboration in action. So you've done your basic team setup. Let's assume the Revit Cloud work sharing has been done, and now we want to have a look at it, how this whole process across the teams works in action. So within your design collaboration module, like I've explained, each team has a space where they can publish, they can review each other's team's models, they can review changes, they can create issues, and they can also consume other teams' models. So before I start the demonstration, you will hear a lot as I'm going to show you, is that I'm going to talk a lot about sharing of packages, publishing packages, and also consuming packages. So basically what it means is if you share a package, it's the process of you making your drawings available for other teams to be able to see. And then what the nice functionality about this is that before other teams accept these changes, they can view it beforehand in order to correct any or pick up any potential issues or avoid any discrepancies. So that is what it basically means. And then when a team consumes a package, it means they accept the changes or the latest revision that was shared by a discipline, and they then accept that changes into their models space. So we will be having a look at how this works. So in order to go to your teams, to your various team spaces, you need to be in the design collaboration module. So at the moment, you can see on the home screen, you are the selected teams details will reflect on the splash screen. There you can see the sheets and also the views that were published by the architect, also when. If it's not the latest, you can update it to the latest from the platform itself, and you can also schedule a regular publishing of your models if you need to. Also nice is that you can set email notifications by switching it on. So every time any team shares a package or a package is consumed, you will be notified of that. So it's really valuable to turn that on. And then if you click on project model, it will take you to your 3D model without you obviously having to open Revit. So non-Revit users can also view it online or on the platform. Then this is just expanding the team space, so you can see each of the different disciplines which is set up according to their teams. And this is the timeline. They call this a swim lane, and within each swim lane you have various nodes that means different things. So for instance, that one, it's not a full circle. It means that a package was shared, and it also gives you the date when that the MEP guy shared something. This solid full means that the structural team accepted or consumed the package that was shared to them by another discipline. Here we can see in the architecture, we can see there was a package shared, and also if you click on the node, it will take you once again into the model itself. So this is where you can view any updates and also see what it looks like. If you expand the content browser on the left, you will be able to toggle between the various levels. It creates like a cut plane on the 3D model itself. All of the sets that I've mentioned that were published, you can view as well. You can have a look at the various sheets, and then change visualization helps you to see any changes between the different model versions that were uploaded. Then if you go back to the team space, you can also see the different disciplines models that were published, and you can also highlight them by color coding them. So it's a nice way of distinguishing between the models, and also being able to see an overlay of the models. Great, so that was it for just a basic interface of design collaboration and what it looks like. The next step will be to create and share a package. Now, once a team has published and uploaded their model to the Autodesk Construction Cloud, they can create a package, and this package then consists of their model information and any updates that they want to share with the other teams. So other teams can then preview a shared package, and they can also review changes before accepting a package. In Autodesk construction terms, consume, like I've explained a bit earlier on. And this functionality thus gives teams the ability of controlling what they share with other teams. So if we had to look at what this process works like, here we are still in the architect's team space. And if they are, in other words, ready to share packets, they will go to their swim lane, they will click on the plus icon, and it will take them to the model space. And then from here, they will need to select the various drawing sets and views that they want to add to the package. Any documents that they want to include can also be added. So in terms of the documents that you can include in a package, files that are supported are obviously Revit or IFC files, and you can also add the documents from your project files, which are file types like your Excel sheets, JPEGs, text files, RTFs, and doc and Word documents as well. So once you've selected what documents and drawings you want to include in a package, you will click on Save. And then from there, you will click on Share Package. From there on, you will then give it a specific name, and you can also add a description for the package. And then you will click Share again. Okay, now if we have a look back in the architects, the overview of their team's space, we can also see that we can see the details, and we can see that the node has changed. It's now solid, which means that that package has been shared. So another team that now looks at their swim lane can be able to see on the timeline that a new package was shared and it's ready to be viewed. This is just also showing you what it looks like when an email notification is sent about a package that was shared. So if you want to view a specific package, you can just click on View Package, which will take you to the platform itself. So next we're going to just look at how you typically what a shared package looks like, and then before you consume another team's model, like I've said, you can review it and also explore changes before you actually accept it. So over here, I'm pretending that I'm now the architect, and we've got the structure engineer who sent me a new package. I can also see the description of it, and you can also see the content of this package. So there's only one 3D view and there's a model. And if you want to, you can then go and explore it. Show changes. It also visualize change between the various versions. And then once again, you can have a look at the various views and sheets that were shared. And then also nice to, once again, is your team space where you can overlay the various disciplines models and also color code it as needed. Okay, so following from the previous slide, where the architect now explored the updated model, which was shared by the structural team, if he or she is now satisfied with the changes, he can then go ahead and consume that package, which means he accepts the updated structural model into his or her respective team environment. So on this slide currently, you can see that that structures shared package is still selected. And you can also notice that the appearance of the node, it's still empty, which means it has only been shared. It hasn't been consumed yet. So if the architect wants to consume the package, he can either do so by clicking on the consume icon, or he can do it, or he can open the package from the swim lane as well. But before he consumes it, he can first explore the model. So if he's ready to consume the changes, he will click on consume. This is just a prompt telling him or asking whether he's sure he wants to go ahead. And once that is done, we can also see that the node has changed to solid, meaning that it's now consumed. And then also, if we go back to the docs module and to the project folder structure, if we now go to the architect's their folders as well, you will see that under consumed, there's automatically a new subfolder created for structural. And because of the architect consuming that package, a copy of the structural engineer's model has been saved in their folders. So this works like linking of models together. So that was it for a very brief overview of how BIM Collaborate Pro works, and also just how teams typically collaborate on it. So before we end off, I just quickly want to run us through some takeaways from today. And I thought it would be a good idea to just talk about what does successful collaboration look like. So, or aspects around it. So first of all, streamlined workflows is really important. In other words, everyone knows their role, they know where to get information, they know how to communicate properly, and they also feel safe completing their duties and allowing others to finish theirs. So streamlined workflows is really also what a CDE allows you to do is to have streamlined workflows, like I've shown in previous slides. Then trust is probably one of the most important aspects of collaboration as well. And for me, it's also like the foundation of good collaboration. In its absence, individuals and teams tend to prioritize their own tasks and goals, often at the expense of others. Then model checking is also fundamental in BIM. Model checking could be described as a detailed process of examining a particular system model, whether it's meeting the required or a certain criteria, and we can understand that model checking is also of tremendous importance for BIM. Then in terms of project members, also having specific roles with controlled access to different information really helps the collaboration process just be more efficient and easier. And then also relevant data is another big or important thing. Only capture the data that you really need. We often say that data is only as valuable as if it's easily accessible and relevant. So in order to prevent falling into the prey of data overload, you really need to configure your CDE so that it captures only the data that is required for the project and also useful to the teams who are involved on the project. Then just quickly, in terms of how we as Baker Baines can assist you, if you want to know more about this whole BIM thing that I spoke about, please do get in touch with us so that we can assess your current processes and also help you and lead you on your best way forward. Then also, if you are maybe in need of a proper common data environment like BIM 360 or the new platform, which is Autodesk Construction Cloud, you can talk to us. This is what we are good at. And then if you are maybe looking at some fundamental or customized specialized training or workshops, you can go and have a look online at our various courses available and book for either a fundamental or a specialist series course to upskill on that. Then just quickly looking at our I Adopt consulting methodology. So what is this? This is our unique consulting methodology, which we use to help clients. We help them develop and implement a digital strategy as well as their digital transformation. We also use this methodology to optimize your business processes and workflows. We use this to help you adopt technology, essentially to help you design and make a better world. Then just why would you want to make use of our consulting services in terms of the benefits? It really focuses on solving the problem. We are also focused towards delivering tangible outcomes for you or your organization. It's also a holistic approach which addresses all of your organizational issues, not just one thing. And it stretches well beyond the CAD environment. And then also it includes change management as well. So if you look at our 3 tiers of our methodology, which is assess, educate, and consult, change management is really basically the result of this whole process that we use. With all of that being said, I would now like to allow for any questions if there are. So I'm just going to have a look at the chat box. I can see Tians. Let me quickly have a look. How can we as BIM enthusiasts educate our clients and fellow professionals in adopting BIM? First of all, I'm very glad to hear that you are a BIM enthusiast. I think, like I've explained, for me, it's really that part where I talked about the common data environment versus the traditional information exchange process. If you looked at that process, if you remember what I explained was that it's really a disconnected process. It's one-to-one. It's not a collaborative process at all. And if you, in order to convince clients and fellow professionals, is really to highlight to them the benefits that they will get from adopting BIM and also collaborating on a common data environment. I think that is what it gets down to. I've also seen that, especially when we show new clients or people who are not necessarily on BIM Collaborate or BIM Collaborate Pro, the nice functionality that you have on there to collaborate, to your accessibility to data, things like version tracking, all of those frustrations that you typically have with your conventional ways, if you can, or if you are able to show that to fellow people, I think it might already be convincing enough. Just want to see any other questions. I also want to invite you, if you have some questions after today's session, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be soon just sharing my details. But yeah, do pop me a mail, or go and have a look on LinkedIn. Send me a message. You are welcome to do so if you've got more questions. Okay, so I don't see there's no other questions, so I don't want to keep anyone any longer or steal too much of your Friday afternoon. Um, on that, I just want to remind you of our various online platforms. We are also on the various social media platforms as well, so go and check us out. Follow us to make sure that you keep track with all that's happening on our side with events and trainings. And then also our Baker Bay support desk is available from Mondays to Fridays between 8 and 11:30. So feel free, if you need any assistance or have more questions, reach out to us. We will be glad to help you. And with that being said, I would like to end our session for today. I just want to thank you all for attending once again, and you should all go and have a lovely weekend.